Let's move on to the injury, though, now, because this is the top story in Nuggets land right now. Cam Johnson goes down last game. He starts hitting the floor. You knew it was going to be something bad, and you were worried that it would be something catastrophic, an injury that keeps him out the year. That is not the case. He has a bone bruise, which is a very vague, like he hyperextended it and has a bone bruise. There's some injuries where you kind of look to the database and say, we know exactly how long it is, 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, like a small window. Bone bruise is one of those ones where there's so many different degrees of it, and where did the bone bruise happen, which bones are bruised in the knee, all those different things that the guy who I think is most reliable on these types of things, Jeff Stotts on Twitter in Street Clothes, he showed that the average, I think, was like 14 and a half days. But the high end was 75 or 85 days, and the low end was like no time missed.
Hell yeah.
So it's one of those ones that can be anything. The Nuggets are saying 4 to 6 weeks before he's reevaluated. That tells you that they want to be extra cautious, but also that it's kind of a big deal. That would take us to the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So the first thought here, Dev, is Cam Johnson, I thought, was playing great over these last 15 games. And right as he gets his footing, he goes out and won't be back until the final stretch of the season.
It's brutal. And it seems like that's just like the norm when it comes to Cam Johnson. And, that's not his fault. Like, it just kind of happens because he did give himself a goal of playing a certain amount of games this year.
It meant something to him.
It meant, and now you have to take it away as well as he was finally catching his stride. He was finally building that chemistry, and you only get that while you're playing. You only get that by going through it. So, not having to do that, now you're in survival mode of trying to figure out, who else steps up, but also how do you implement him back when he gets when he gets back. So this is going to be a tough stretch. I do think that it's probably a good thing that they're on the road this entire time, because now there's the chemistry off the court that that I think that they'll build behind that. But it's going to be tough for him to try to come back into I have to play well coming off of an injury that took me out for some time.
Dylan, here's the question I have though is, if we go the high end, say 6 weeks, we're looking at the All-Star break. After that really is the home stretch. There's a lot of games. It's not like the season is completely over, but to me, that's just enough time for him to get a rhythm with the starters. We've barely seen the starters together.
I know.
You're going to have to win with that. And now I look at it and say the Nuggets' chances of getting their starters together for 20 consecutive games, we're now down to its final margin.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why you watch the NBA season. You don't know, you not played on paper. That a lot of stuff happens throughout the year, and we're going to see what the ebb and flow looks like. You do like that at least Cam Johnson found a level of comfort with the starters, at least playing with Jokic and Murray, which is enough. That you think that probably you won't have the same ramp up time that we had at the beginning of the season. But yeah, man, between AG, Christian, Cam, we actually don't know what the power of the starting lineup is
totally. And the bench, we don't know the power of the bench because the bench keeps starting,
which is good for the bench in many ways. But yeah, dude, it's it's now we're in the mode where you're just get back to the playoffs. It's gonna be fine. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting. That's the thing. It's this is why NBA basketball is interesting, because there are things that happen and the dynamics of the team change, and we got to find players that rise up out of obscurity or raise their roles. And to me, as I mentioned, I think that is Julian Strawther. I think Julian Strawther is the key to the Nuggets being able to keep their head above water, which is a crazy thing to have to hope for.
All right, well, that's the next segment here, so we'll go to it now. The next man up. Julian Strawther did have a very good game in the last one where he knocked down a couple threes. That's kind of what you needed.
Exactly.
I was hoping he would ease into it, though.
Yeah.
This was one where you were out injury. You're still a third-year player. It's all right, gets him 10 minutes. And get that up to 13, then 20. All of a sudden, it's Denver just needs the shooting now. You need the shooter out there. I think he's going to play a lot. And to me, this is the most important stretch of Julian Strawther's career. This upcoming 3 weeks,
Definitely.
where it might be a week, might be 2, might be 3 before CB and AG come back. In those moments, he's just one of the guys, has to play well.
This is the first time that since he's been in a Nuggets uniform, that he's relied on.
Yeah,
this. Yeah, that they need him though.
You're right.
They threw him in there at times, but it was kind of just go play.
Yeah, hopefully.
But right now it's we need you to score baskets. We need you to lead that second unit and be a scoring option. We're going to pencil you in for 15 minutes tonight. He has not had that since he's been in the NBA. So this is the most important stretch because he gets to prove himself. This is a prove it spot for him. of, hey, let's see what we have. This is not just a young guy that's on the team in his first year or anything like that. Like, hey, you've been around for some time. Now it's your time to put the ball in the basket. So this is going to be a good stretch for him. And also they're going to be able to put the ball in his hands and let him operate. We got to see it in the last game. It looks good. It opens up the floor. He looks confident when he's in that bag. So maybe he builds on that and just forms like a repetition right now.
Yeah, great point.
I obviously am a bit of a Julian skeptic. So for me, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, primarily to defend. I still think his shot was always going to come along.
A straw denier?
A straw denier. But to me, it's all the other things. Can he move the ball? Can he be impactful when he's not making shots? And then can he be a point of attack defender? Those things are going to be, it's a lot of pressure, especially coming off of injury. He lost, I'm sure, some conditioning and rhythm and all those things. And now he's going to be called upon. But I don't think he's the only guy. I also look at Peyton Watson and think, not that Peyton Watson wanted any injuries or this or that. In the starting lineup now, Tim Hardaway Jr. has the green light to pull, do whatever. But I think Peyton Watson's always been in that CB role of just like screen, cut. If you're open, you get it. If not, get out the way. And now I look at it and think Denver kind of needs a little more from him in a way that could either be great or disastrous. He's in a contract year. He wants to prove. The best story for me is if Peyton Watson helped keep Denver afloat because he was able to very lightly expand his game now and just showed us something more that he has in his bag.
Yeah, I mean, there is that element that could totally come into play. I think that we kind of have seen what P-Watt can do, which is a lot. Don't get me I think that he can add a lot to the starting unit. I think we've seen it. I think he's like really seamlessly fit in, and I think he will have more responsibility from the starting unit. When I look at Julian Strawther, I'm like, you need to be an exact proxy of what Tim Hardaway Jr. was on the bench. Like, you need to be that exact guy that he was, like being able to buoy the bench's scoring. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. needs to do what he was doing on the bench for the starters. And P-Watt can still do a lot of scoring. It's just like, if we get that balance, if we get both of those guys going off, and so there's always a flamethrower guy on the court, because the point of attack defense is going to be terrible. He's not a good point of attack defender. He's just not. He's never going to be one. But that's what I'm saying. The Nuggets just have to outscore teams right now. They don't have.
They've kind of been doing that.
Yes.
I mean, for the last month, really, they've just been all offense, no defense. Is there another guy though that you think maybe takes an extra import here, or maybe even breaks into the rotation who hasn't been playing?
I think Bruce Brown is like the answer right now. Just because I feel like he has been playing well. He's also part of the real rotation, so now he steps up. And if there's anything, I feel like I've learned about Bruce Brown in the last couple of weeks is like he's doing what the team needs him to do. And right now they need him to score. They need him to be a two-way option, not just, grab rebounds or set, the tone as the primary ball handler when there's not Jamal out there. So I do think that he steps into a spot of like, no, we need you to be the old Bruce, the Bruce that was here when they won the championship. So I think Bruce Brown is a player that they will have to rely on. And then in this lineup or in this matchup specifically, a Jalen Pickett.
Yeah.
Just because they need ball handler. They need somebody to take the pressure off.
And he can look really bad because they're going to be pressing. That's what they do. They try to get up in you. So this is a Jalen Pickett night where if he's good, it's going to really help Denver. But if he's bad, that pressure gets to him, it can really get ugly for him.
Especially now
same with Bruce.
With the injuries. Like Bruce Brown's going to have to play more minutes. So yeah. I'm guessing that means that Jalen Pickett's going to be the backup point guard spot.
Right.
So he's actually going to play more, especially when you want to, spell those minutes from Jamal. So this is an important stretch. Like really, this is the stretch for all the other guys.
Yeah.
We've seen this rotation for so long, but someone has to step up.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It's going to be so interesting. I mean, there's a kind of everyone has to step up.
There's not enough guys. Yeah. There's not enough people that it's like everybody.
Honestly, Zeke Naji probably needs to step up a little bit too.
Like, might have to play just for size. The last person here, the last two people that have to step up, I think Jamal's been great this year. He needs to maintain maybe what he's been at. If he can step up, then by all means step up. I think Jokic has to step up. And Jokic's been incredible in aggregate, like for the majority of the time. But these little off nights with Jokic that you see, or off half, as we saw last game against Dallas, it sucks because it's unfair to him, but it's like, hey man, every second you're not the MVP, the Nuggets are losing.
Yeah.
We kind of need only MVP at the moment, and it's an unfair bargain, but unfortunately it's what he's got. And by the way, knock on wood here, but Denver has not lost back-to-back games all season. They are on a 1-game losing streak. Now you're at home.